And here we go.
Suggs for the win! Oh, yes! Oh, yes!
Jesperson, half-court lead for the win!
Jenkins gives it to Jenkins for the championship!
And the next stop on the Purdue redemption tour is the Final Four!
Hello, D1 and Dunners, and welcome to Season 3, Episode 1. Everyone, we have made it to Season 3. We've officially passed the original office. We only went 2 seasons, so credit to us, Shout out the haters. They were wrong, but we made it to Season 3, boys. Congratulations to everyone. Clap it all around. Clap it all around, everyone. Go ahead.
Clap for the Ryder Cup.
Not
the result, but just the event itself.
So the event itself, there you go. We'll give a golf clap for that. If you're new to the show, welcome. If you're old to the show, I don't know if that's a term or phrase, welcome back. So again, it is Season 3, Episode 1, and like any good TV show, you need to change things up. Sopranos Season 2, they added Richie Aprile. Shout out. Spoiler alert, James kills him in the penultimate episode of Season 2. Duck Phelps gets at Mad Men Season 2. So we follow suit here at D1 and Done. So for Season 3, Episode 1, if you've been following us, things are a little different, as you can see. First of all, we're on camera now. Or I guess not on camera. We have our own studio.
Welcome to the Ray.
Welcome to the Ray. I don't know what that means. Why do we call the Ray? I guess, again, if you're new to the show, I should introduce all of us, right?
Yeah.
Hello, everyone. I am Nick Mills. It's my first time hosting, as you can tell. To the left of me is my brother Jake, and to the right of me in the blue shirt is my brother Dusty. And joining us via, what is he joining us via?
Riverside.
Riverside is our good friend Robbie Donahoe. Welcome, everyone. Just like first day of school, everyone introduce himself and give everyone a fun fact. Jake, would you like to start as our producer?
Yeah, I'm excited for a full season. My fun fact is that my Florida Gators are the defending national champions. It's been one hell of a summer since April. After a whirlwind of events, I've probably watched One Shiny Moment 450 times since then. I'm excited.
Great. Dusty, what is your fun fact for the audience? And welcome.
Well, one, Jake should have touched on that he did play college basketball at Marion University here in Indianapolis.
I guess the host probably should, didn't I?
Yeah. So, but yeah, he's our producer. He's really good at the stuff that I am not good at. I'm wearing a Florida shirt to honor the Gators. As a kid, I was a big Florida fan, and when they won their back-to-back titles in 07, 08, I was at the RCA Dome in 07, 08. I was not there in Atlanta. But so I'm wearing this in honor of them, even though I'm not a Florida fan anymore. Couldn't give 2 craps about them, but congrats, Jake, for your victory. So the D1 part of this, for those that don't know, I actually walked on, played at both Kentucky and Ball State. I played high school basketball with Robbie at a school called Noblesville, Indiana. And we're here now to talk about how Florida's not going to repeat and go from there. But this is for Jake and for the show.
And finally, joining us via Riverside is our good friend Robbie Donahoe. Robbie, again, tell the class something about yourself.
Hi, yes. My name is Robbie Donahoe, 6'4", 220. I am 36 years old, born in Noblesville, Indiana. Fun fact about me, where do you want to begin? I guess I am very excited to be a Purdue Boilermaker fan, and very excited to watch them make the run to the Final Four, which I was very excited that I actually bought into the ticket lottery to get tickets for the Final Four, and I was chosen to get seats at Lucas Oil Stadium. So the plan is to be there with a child. Should mention that. We'll talk about that here in a moment.
So Robbie's been doing things this last year.
Yeah.
And that's why we've been delayed. And congrats to him. And good for you, Kelly, Robbie and I used to shower together, so I've seen it.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I haven't.
It's probably, yeah. But
we have a child coming.
Wait, pause real quick. one, congrats to the child, but two.
For-
So are we announcing on the start of season 3
Yeah,
that we're gonna have boots on the ground, the Final Four?
We will have boots on the ground at the Final Four, and here's
What
the hope is young little Donahoe, who will be, let's see, 5 months old by then, will get to see a Purdue national championship within the first year of his lifetime. Which
So you're naming this kid Pete, right?
no, his name will be Rondale Matthew Painter Zachary Edie Donahoe, first of his name, king of the Boilermakers. Yeah, all those, yes.
I didn't hear Hudson Card in there. No Hudson Card.
No,
for his transfer?
Hudson's like going to be like the 50th option if we try to find a name. But yes, wife and I are expecting. Due date is November 18th, so that is kind of right smack dab in the middle of feast week. So it'll be a little challenging for me to be around, but for those who have been involved with the show and have been loyal listeners, thank you for sticking around with us. Nick is going to take over as the permanent host. I will be on as a guest at least once every 2-ish weeks whenever I can get away. And the hope is we can still bring you some great college basketball coverage, have a lot of fun talking college hoops, and share some stories and some fun along the way.
Yeah, you could tell I'm new to hosting because Robbie did a better job explaining the show outline in just 10 seconds I have in the first 2 minutes.
I did it like 50 times in a row. I mean, at this point, it's just it's up here. It's ready to roll.
Hey, Shaw, if there's any Nick and Brady show listeners out there, do you know I once hosted a now failed podcast? So
No. Failed? Absolutely not.
What is it called? Like when a great show gets canceled early?
I would say dormant. It's like
the financiers failed us.
The financiers failed us, like Jeff Epstein failed other people. So, again, everyone, welcome to Season 3, Episode 1 of the D1 Done podcast.
Wait, what is the Nick and Brady show list then? Is that coming out anytime soon?
On to the rundown. We are not going to, I'm going to do what our president does, not to get political on the show.
Which we don't.
Any political takes, I guess, before we get started? Anyone?
Everybody love everybody.
Everybody love everybody.
What's a political take?
Great question. Great point, Jake. So today, again, actually back to our original point about me, being new to hosting. I have not shouted out our sponsor yet. Shout out. I have it written down right here. This episode of the D1 Done podcast is brought to you by the official Mountain West correspondent, official SEC correspondent, and the benefactors of the podcast, the Hagen Hall boys. Shout out to them. You know who you are. We love you. And if I had this written down correctly, you can follow us on social media. I do not have the tags. We add that in like the show outline, Jake, somewhere.
It will be, if you're watching this, it's in the bottom left corner of your screen.
Just search D1 and Done Pod, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You'll find us there.
It's all the same.
Yeah.
Email's the same.
YouTube.
D1 and Done.
Are we on MySpace?
I've been reaching out to Tom.
Tom.
I almost
Yeah.
said Ted, and that didn't sound right. That's the movie. That's Teddy Bear.
And
Tom. We should have Tom on.
I would love to have Tom on. Tom, come on the pod. You're welcome anytime.
MySpace Tom, come on.
And Tom, if you want to come on the pod, you can email us at d1anddonepod@gmail.com. So again, everyone, welcome back. Today on episode 1 of season 3, it's going to be pretty, I don't want to say vague, but very more general. We just want to say hello. We're excited to be back. We're going to hit some things we missed during the summer. A notable coach retired. The tournament staying put
Speaking
from
of
now.
political takes.
Speaking of political takes, our good friend Bruce Pearl shout out. And there's some major NCAA house settlement news, so we'll touch on that. So yeah, we're fun. Great to be back. Before we get the main things we hit on, anything anyone wants to say? Any words of encouragement? Anything anyone wants to get off their chest? Is there any like looming beef we need to settle? Anything, anyone at all? The room's open.
Yeah, I would say, I think it's a big topic, the whole Bruce Pearl thing.
Okay, so we're just
jumping right into it.
Hop into it, or I just
No.
season 3 right on.
No, we're just jumping right in. Don't waste any time. No one needs to say anything else.
Hey,
let Dusty let us go. Yes.
This is all
Let 'em
business here on the D1 and Done podcast.
We're about a decade ago of me screaming at the SEC tournament. Words I shouldn't have said at Stephen Pearl. Walking at
We're
Tennessee.
more than a decade, aren't we?
Or
2014 Atlanta, give or take, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's lay out for some.
Talk about it,
You've been living under a rock about, a week or two ago. Bruce Pearl, who did not coach at Auburn basketball since probably about 2014, 2015 range.
Yeah.
Well over a decade. Took him 2 Final Fours. Bruce Pearl's been one of the, whatever your opinion on is, probably been one of the best college basketball coaches for multiple years now. And and out of nowhere,
2014.
2014. Thank you, Jake. He, I believe, what the word was, resigned as coach of Auburn basketball, and almost immediately his son Stephen Pearl was hired as the head basketball coach, and not on an interim basis. I believe it was a 5-year contract for everyone's favorite basketball coach, Stephen Pearl. So, and by the way, this is second straight year a notable coach has kind of, retire/resign right before the start of the season. Shout out Tony Bennett. Shout out Kyle Guy, or Kyle's guys. So, Crab, I think we should start with you. You brought this topic to the table today. Just
To fruition.
to fruition. Pearl to Pearl. What are your thoughts, sir?
So, well, one, Steven unfortunately didn't get like the Juan Soto contract, but good for him. I mean, to be playing the sport and then just kind of be embedded in it for something that was my dream to go into, and it didn't work out. I'm interested to see how just Steven will take, because Bruce Pearl built such a good system at both Tennessee, then obviously left for a while, and Auburn. Great recruiting, great players, and they have another good team coming back this year. And it's interesting to see how the players, one, will you wonder, like, do you look at it as a nepotism type thing, which I don't think it should be seen that way. Maybe it's
a big
more
thing
of
in sports right now.
yeah,
Mhm.
but maybe it's something more where they see, okay, dad coached son into this. I know son very well. And Steven was very involved in recruiting for the last, I think, 3 or 4 years with them. So kind of pumped about that. But yes, I mean, for this to happen the last 2 weeks, I just thought was kind of one of the crazier things where Auburn, once again, I would say is a national championship contending team, but
Well, and one thing I'll add to that is, and this
Producer
is
Jake, to you.
based on why I think Pearl, people were asking, why did Pearl not do this in April, May, June, July, August? From what I know
which
about
wasn't that
the
Tony Bennett
Well, I
thing
was
too,
saying,
or-
so what I know
yeah.
about the Tony Bennett situation is that Bennett had contemplated for a while, leaving the game and then staying in, didn't know really what he wanted to do, and it next lined up to a timeline where post-fall break at these universities, those coaches' contracts within the team and the roster are now solidified for the season. So Pearl, I would, fall break is well past. That coaching
Is
staff
is fall break well past?
for
No,
college.
not yet.
Is it really?
No.
Or is it?
Fall
It's
break's
like
not until
October 1st.
Fall break's not till well, it depends on when the fiscal years start at the universities as well, but I believe that is when October 1st comes through. So
Right, so
you,
now
you, you
Robbie
might
the
be
accountant.
Producer Jake, we look up when
yeah.
fall breaks traditionally on college
Well,
campuses.
What
So
date is it?
here's the big question that I wanted to ask, and this is, we've already talked about this as well, is the timing it was interesting, because I think when you have a sudden departure like this, you automatically think, okay, what happened? And truthfully, I think, for the longest time, Bruce Pearl wanted to have that succession plan in place. So that's why Steven was there. And Dusty, you mentioned it, is it nepotism? I mean, I guess you could make the argument that it is, because, Steven hasn't been a head coach yet. Remember, when he left playing college basketball, he then went into the business sector, the private sector, before he got back into coaching. So he hasn't even been an assistant coach for a decade. Like, he was a Dobo, then became the assistant coach at another place. I need to be able to look that up. So
he didn't start coaching until he was an assistant at Auburn in 2017. Was his
Correct.
first year.
So
And prior to that, he was with Stryker.
yeah, so that's,
Him and Ross Muir.
It's oh gosh. Is he going to be a good coach? I don't know. I think it's too early to say whether or not he's going to be a good coach or not. But you mentioned the culture there. How does he continue to keep that culture at Auburn? Because Bruce Pearl was so personable, he was so likable on the surface. I think if you look behind the scenes, he drove people crazy. Yes, he won games, but ultimately, he's going to, Steven's going to be compared to his dad. Is he going to continue to win games? We'll find out. How good of an in-game coach is he? I don't know. I think one thing that people don't realize, and you guys can speak to this as well, is the head coach, his coaching staff. Not every one of those coaches is a very good basketball coach. Some of the coaches are just on the bench.
Kenny Payne.
Orlando Antigua, guys that are on the bench
John Calipari.
just to either take up a seat or be recruiting. Now, was Stephen Pearl an actual good in-game coach? I don't know, but we're certainly going to find out pretty quickly because Auburn has a top 5, top 10 caliber team coming back this year. And it sounds like everyone's not leaving and everyone's coming back, and they're not, because that 30-day transfer window opens for every team when a coach leaves.
October 21st is what by the end of the day of October 21st is when the window closes.
Yeah, I would imagine it looks like everyone's sticking around. But yeah, I think it remains to be seen how this is going to go for Auburn. But the timing suggested that, you mentioned at the top the politics angle of things. Bruce Pearl's gotten very political on social media, so you thought, maybe he moves into the political realm of, running as a senator or House of Representatives, whatever that may be. And I feel like that is a pretty good role for him. So I'm not really quite sure, outside of making sure his son was guaranteed the head coaching job, why else he would leave right now.
So I did read something or saw something where he's not going to run for anything, but he may be involved
Okay.
politically. Also, I wonder if Steven will have a cookout before October 21st.
Will Aaron Kraft be invited? That is the big question.
Yeah.
Speaking of medical sales, shout out Aaron Kraft. He's a doctor these days.
Speaking of striker,
I think this whole thing's interesting for 3 things. First of all, I mentioned medical sales thing. People forget, so that's where Stephen Pearl started. Brad Stevens started medical sales, so maybe there's a pipeline there. But this whole thing's interesting in 3 ways. One, first of all, Auburn basketball as a whole, right? Because when I was growing up from 2000 to 2014, Auburn basketball was
remember that they had one good team that was a 1 seed, I believe.
Was that 99?
Yep.
Wasn't Ohio State that beat them?
Ohio State beat him in the Sweet 16 to go to the Elite 8 to eventually play St. John's, and then Ohio State made it the Final Four. Yes.
All Scooney Penn,
Michael Redd, Ken Johnson, all on that team. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's just so fascinating. But we think of Bruce Pearl and Auburn basketball. First of all, what does Auburn basketball owe Bruce Pearl? Do they owe him for him to kind of handpick his son, his successor? Someone who's been there. Because again, Auburn basketball. Robbie knows because they want to be down there. Basketball's not the main priority there. It's a football school. Granted, they have supported the hell out of that basketball program. So I think it's just interesting. A question what does Auburn owe Bruce Pearl? And honestly, do they really? I shouldn't say care too much, but football is the priority. So they willing to let the basketball program do something like this for a coach who's done a lot of good things for a long time. So I think that part's very interesting. And
here's the other thing I will mention. Sorry to interrupt, but
please.
So football is the main sport in the South. There's no question about it. Baseball's probably second. And you should remember the athletic director at Auburn is John Cohen, the former head baseball coach at Mississippi State. So baseball is the priority there over basketball. And I think most people would tell you at Auburn, they would much rather see Butch Thompson win a College World Series over the men's basketball team winning a national championship. So it's something to consider.
That's why one of the questions I was going to ask is, do we know if for sure that Bruce handpicked Steven? Now that you mentioned that, is it a Cohen thing where he's saying, I can get Steven for pennies on the dollar, the program stays the same, and I can put my focus other ways, versus having this open coaching search where I got to pay an arm and a leg to get somebody?
As someone who knows John Cohen pretty well and who was around him for quite a long time in Mississippi State, he is a delegator. He wants to delegate tasks. He also is someone, it's weird. He's a micromanager, yet he's a delegator. So I think in a weird way, he was like, yes, that's fine. He's probably was like, yes, that's fine. Let's go with it. But at the same time as well, John Cohen's he's very egotistical. I think he wants to be the guy to hire Bruce Pearl's successor to eventually win that national championship. But ultimately, the timing, you're not going to go out and find a head coach right now in the college basketball sphere. That's the timing doesn't make any sense. So, but again, why do you make this move in the middle of September and not in beginning of July or beginning of June? That's where that's why something doesn't add up. And if it's just for Stephen Pearl being the coach, I get it, but there's still something that doesn't fit in the box that I wanted to that makes sense.
Because I think the big point about this is because when Tony Bennett resigned last year, the Virginia coach, I'm sorry, I don't remember his name, it wasn't interim basis.
Yes.
They have already guaranteed 5 years to Stephen Pearl. That's the part that's pretty
It's a ballsy move,
I
man,
mean,
for a guy that we don't know what he's going to be as a coach. Like
Well, and do you think there's more behind the scenes that maybe, again, has Pearl been more of a figurehead the last year and a half?
no.
listen, Steven Pearl could be a rock star. To me, just giving a 5-year deal and not enter basis in September thing, that just makes little to no sense to me. Other than
What's he getting?
I get why people make the nepotism argument. So
Yeah.
again, Steven Pearl could be a great coach, but I just think it is such a risk for, especially Auburn basketball. I feel you got to strike when iron's hot because you could turn into Auburn basketball of old really quickly. if you're
Yeah,
not careful.
it would be one thing if this was an assistant that had years of experience of like building up experience, going to all of these schools and learning how to coach and how to recruit under different coaches and just building up experience, building up a resume. He started at Auburn in 17 and has gone nowhere else. Like that's what would concern me. He better have a damn good coaching staff behind him to help him. But I don't, there's just something about this that I'm not sure this is going to go well for Auburn because Bruce Pearl, I mean, one of the big things about being a head coach in college basketball is you have to be able to be the shield for your team. You have to take a lot of the crap. Can Stephen Pearl do that at 38 years old? I don't know. It doesn't, I will be honest. Stephen Pearl doesn't seem like the most mature person to be the head coach of a D1 SEC men's basketball program. And I've seen him do some dumb stuff at games. So I'm not sure that's a whole nother layer of this that we probably won't get into, that I'm not sure maturity wise he's prepared to be a head coach at the D1 level.
May I ask someone, as our resident 38-year-old who's been accused of being immature at times, Crab, do you have any final comments on this Stephen Pearl thing and Auburn, Bruce Pearl in general?
So first of all, nepotism, nothing, nothing against that. I mean, if you have your leader can be your father if he's going to lead the right places, right? So I think nepotism is wrong if you're raising the wrong kid. But the immaturity part, I think we have a funny podcast at times. So
At times.
That Stephen Pearl does have an amazing tweet.
Oh gosh.
That we'll just stop there, and if you want to go research it, you go research it.
Look it up yourself.
I do not think it should damn him because I admit that I actually literally a month ago got a Facebook memory sent to me about something that I posted, and I deleted it immediately. And so, Stephen, not holding the pass, but yes, I mean the maturity thing could be an issue, and
It's all the people get.
yeah,
Just look it up.
yeah, just look it up. But I would say his is more damning than mine was. But it's not something that he went out there. But we all do stupid shit, or excuse my language, stupid stuff when we're early 20s or 17 or whatever.
I mean, as long as if I'm able to get positions with a tweet still floating out there, I'm a man stuck in a woman's body on Twitter. We're okay. Which
for those that don't know, that was during the Florida Gulf Coast game back in, what would that have been?
2013, Dunk City.
Yeah.
But so seriously, room for Pearl. He has a great team coming back, and it will be fun to see what Stephen Pearl can do with that roster.
Tahad Pettiford's going to have to do a lot for that team.
Agreed.
And part of that is getting a chauffeur to and from practice.
Uber everywhere, people.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say too, just real quick with them. I mean, you'll find out quickly, like, can he actually coach? I'm sure he can, but
yeah,
as you kind of mentioned, Robbie, just being a leader, and I mean, you're dealing with, again, as we always say, 18 to 22-year-olds. It'll be interesting, but they have a great roster, and I would say one of the top teams in the SEC. So,
real quick, because we've gone long on this. Any just weird lasting thoughts on Bruce Pearl going to be? Like one of the best coach, or whatever we want to rank him, a Hall of Fame coach has retired. Just any, I guess, Jake, I'm going to start with you, or whatever you're going to say.
Well, I was going to say, I have one last question about between Bruce and Stephen. Who has a better father-son relationship, Bruce and Stephen, or Krzyzewski to Shire?
Oh, Krzyzewski's Shire. Maybe Krzyzewski and was it Wojciechowski's probably up there too?
Oh, Wojo, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Quiet.
Quiet.
Yeah, shout out Bruce Pearl. What a career.
Yeah,
And
amazing-
shout out
amazing
Auburn
career.
Athletics. Their coaching hires are always just entertaining. They can't help themselves. Whether it's Hugh Freeze, Brian Harson, Turner Gill, who didn't get hired back in the day. Shout out Auburn
Turner
Athletics
Gill.
for being.
I will say this last comment for me. 2019 Auburn should win the national title. So I know that goes back against
Shout out to Kyle.
Um,
He did,
I
get,
don't know
he,
if it-
he did get fouled. He got fouled.
Well, if Power Hero could hit a jump shot on Elite 8, they wouldn't have been there.
And now
So,
that
you
it's
know.
public, we can go ahead and tell you, Robbie. It just came out. Kyle signed a 10-day with the Pacers today.
Wow.
So he is leaving Nevada to head coming home. To
Yeah, that-
have
that
a,
is
he has
college
an
basketball
he has an
news, yeah,
E10,
he's-
That's awesome.
Exhibit 10, and I saw Trilly Donovan just had a tweet about it too. So he might be the first ever
So it's not,
assistant coach to go to the NBA.
so it's not first reported by D1. No, we're going to say it anyways. First reported by D1
Credit us.
podcast.
It's from
Kyle
us.
Guy, 10-day Producer Jake, how do we not break this news?
I think we
Well,
did.
technically Nevada did, and I don't know if they were supposed to.
This is we're having a performance review after this one. But congratulations, Kyle. Welcome home. All righty. I think we did a good job our first topic back, everyone. So moving on. This one's a quick one. I think the other we had three big stories. We'll get to the second one. I think this one's a quicker one. For people who didn't see, again, busy summers. The NCAA tournament is going to stay at 68 teams. There's discussions about it going from, I believe, anywhere to 72 to 76. So I feel like it's a major story. Just Robbie, I'll start with you. Any thoughts or anything at all about that?
Yeah, I think going to 72 is just why? It's we like 64, we like 65, 68 makes sense. I think the first four is good as it is. The more teams that you add, the more watered down this thing gets. The perfect example is going to be when we start watching, obviously I'm going to go to a different sport here, but when you start watching the World Cup in 2026 in the United States and how watered down it's going to be, seeing countries that have no business being in the World Cup there because it expanded from 32 to 48.
Don't crap on Honduras.
I'm sorry, but I'm just telling you that's what it would look like if we went to 96 teams in the NCAA tournament. There's a reason why that team shouldn't make it in. 68's a good number. Keep it. Don't expand it. Hope it stays that way. I was happy that they came out with it, but I think ultimately at some point it's probably going to expand because money it continues to be the great mover of all things in sports. So more money, more problems, as a wise man once said, which I won't say what man that was because it's probably not a good time to talk about that.
Dusty, you got something to say?
I was just going to say, I'm with you where I think it'll expand at some point. I don't think it should. I've said this before on the show that, again, I think the number is 92% of all college basketball teams are in their conference tournament. If you win your conference tournament, you're in the NCAA tournament. So if you win, let's say you're Lamar, if you go win your next
9 games.
I was going to say 11 games, even whatever it takes. You're the 10th seed in the Atlantic Sun. I know they're not the Atlantic Sun. I'm just making them conferences and teams. You're
Southland, right?
playing championship unless for some reason you're 0-13 in the SWAC and don't make it to the tournament. Like that's on you. But why expand it when you're only going to put in, like Robbie said, kind of, I'll say more bluntly than you did, crappy teams that are going to get shelled in the first round. I do like the first four. I always been adamant that I think the first four should be more about at-large teams, but at the same time, a lot of schools tell you that, like Texas Southern, who's won, I don't know, 3 or 4 first 4 games. I mean, it's a conference. It's the NCAA tournament win for them, and those players love it.
It's a
So-
banner.
Can we-
They get to hang a banner.
Yeah.
They get to.
Can we
I think that-
also? Can we not? Here, this is. I hate this. We need to stop counting first 4 wins for the 16 seeds as NCAA tournament wins. Those should just be. Those should be.
no.
No, those should be
That-
first.
really-
No, because Texas Southern has never won an NCAA tournament game. They've won a first 4 game, but they've never won a tournament game.
So Fairleigh Dickinson only won one tournament game that year?
Correct. Yes.
Sorry, that was too
That was
easy. I
good.
apologize. Let the little guys have a tournament win, Robbie. Let the little guys have a Hampton.
They
you
can have
one,
a
Cal
first.
Poly.
They can have a first 4 win.
A little wait on that.
They can have a
Completely.
first 4 win. Hampton has a tournament win. Texas
Oh,
Southern does
actually,
not.
yeah.
But yeah, yes, I agree. You guys can go, but 68 is perfect. Leave it as it is.
Yeah, I'll just jump in. I'm going to say a lot of the same things. Honestly, in my opinion, 64, 65 is probably even the right number. Again, because whatever it is, whether 64, 68, I mean,
We know we're not going backwards.
Well,
though.
just
Right,
the
but-
unison looking bracket.
well, someone said 68 perfect, which, yeah, I'm just saying things out loud. Because again, especially how it works out right now, I think the 3 weekends work perfectly. I can start adding numbers, it gets a little janky. I will say this. They would not do this, but like, if they say they went to 72, they're like, hey, we will add the second best team from the Missouri Valley, or like the one seed in the Missouri Valley who didn't win their conference tournament, like Indiana State 2 years ago. No, yes, we'll make sure we prioritize mid-major schools.
But they're not
I
going
would
to.
Exactly. There's no chance, zero chance they'd be doing that. It's gonna be more of, again, like you mentioned, watered down. Oklahoma this year, Jake, can you look it up? I think they went like 5-13 in the SEC, which granted I know is a great year for the SEC. But again, you're gonna get more, 18-14. Wake Forest is shout. Wake Forest maybe actually would make the
Or
tournament.
you would get, or you get Rutgers and Ace Bailey and Dylan Harper in the tournament that had no business being in the tournament. They're going to get in just based on name recognition alone. Like that's the only reason
Right,
why
so-
the Trey Young Oklahoma team. That's the only reason why they got in was just because he was on the team. So you can't write in to the selection committee's order of operations. You have to include a mid-major team. Like that, it's not the
6-12.
it's
Yeah,
not
thank
the
you.
college football playoff. You can't it would be nice if they did that because that Indiana State team from 2 years ago definitely deserved to be in, but that's not something that March Madness is going to be able to do. You just have to basically assume that the selection committee is going to do the right thing, but they don't always.
No,
do.
and they're not. And that's where the fear of expanding the tournament is going to be tough because putting Indiana State into the tournament is not going to make as much money as Oklahoma
Correct.
at that level because there's going to be, I'm going to make up a number, 3 million Oklahoma people that just buy a March Madness T-shirt where Indiana State is going to have,
I like this.
yeah,
Economics class.
yes,
I like this.
thank you, a
Mhm.
million people buy it. So it's like, okay, let's stick them in. They're going to lose in the first round. Even the storyline, because at that point the TV ratings are going to be so high, they're not worried about that. They're worried about the merchandise.
And they're
Which, by the
more.
way, that's also a BS argument. Like, really, what's the difference between Oklahoma making Indiana State, right? Like, what, of thousands or millions? But the point I was making earlier
A
is,
little bit, yeah.
I agree. There's no chance they would incentivize adding in major teams. I'm just saying that'd be the one scenario I'd be open to it if they were just to say they're prioritizing
That's
it,
fair.
which we all agree, zero chance. Jake, any comments on staying at 68? Producer.
I'm just like the more question I have more is at what point in our life is it going to get expand? It's going to expand at some point. I feel like
It's
It's-
very deep.
it's delusional without. So it's like how much longer? But again, you're going to put more basketball in front of me. What am I going to do? I'm going to watch it. Do I think it should change? Hell no. You know what? Don't don't fix what's not broke.
There you go.
But if they do expand this, how do they not get rid of conference tournaments though?
These dramatic pauses are great, by the way.
I know, right?
I know,
I don't
Oh,
get how they keep conference tournaments.
Just because we just said earlier, they make so much money off conference tournaments. I don't think there's
No,
any
yeah, they
like
don't.
Mark Tice talked about. Like I don't think there's any chance they get rid of them.
Well,
That's just
it's
another
like-
money maker
Yeah, it's
they
like
have.
college football. They're not going to get rid of the conference championships because, like,
So does
Wow.
so does that mean that and I know this is just getting big. Does the season shorten in a sense, or does it go the Final Four now be Easter
Uh,
Sunday?
You've
weekend.
you've opened Pandora's box. You can't put it back in. Like it's kind of like with college football. You've added more games. You can't take those games away anymore. Like that money is already being
So are they
counted.
talking
on.
about expanding the regular season anyways? Is it Pope Hughes on
I'm
that?
saying our fearless leader, Mark Pope, who I was 100% on with from the beginning of the
Yeah,
hire,
sure you
wants to expand to 40 games. He's come out and said that. So,
That's a lot of games,
the Pope
dude.
that's gospel, we might have to do that.
That's a
so,
man,
yeah,
that's
that-
a lot. Jeez.
40 plus conference tournament
Which
plus
again-
anyway tournament.
isn't
Wow.
it since our last podcast? New Pope?
Yeah,
New Pope, Chicago.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, the
Yeah.
actual Pope. I was
That's 2 straight years in the pod. We have a new Pope.
Yeah.
So there we go. We're
Popes
on
are
a
back.
streak. Popes
and
are
also,
back.
speaking of Kentucky, is Robbie not going? We're going to have boots on the ground for Purdue, Kentucky playing an exhibition game.
Yeah, I will not be there. I'll have to be watching
yeah.
online, but I'm eager. I'm excited for GFOP Nate and Nick to be there. Should be a good time. So it seems like
Yeah.
GFOP.
good friend of the
GFOP.
pod.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Which I should have said at the top too. So again, if you're new to this pod, again, Robbie's a Purdue fan. I'm Kentucky. He
Wait,
mentioned Florida.
wait. Purdue graduate. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Yeah,
Purdue
Ohio
graduate
State
Robbie,
fan, Purdue graduate.
Kentucky graduate Nick,
Yes.
Kentucky attendee Dusty, and Florida football visitor Jake Mills.
Kentucky attendee. That's so mean.
I got to watch Florida last year at home, on the road, and neutral
Thank
site.
you, Robbie. Kentucky attendee's kind of disrespectful.
Is it not the truth?
I mean, it's not wrong, but it's still it hurts.
I have my jersey. Thank you to Jake, hanging in my office over there.
I thought you were about to say
Did
my
not
jersey is
forecast.
hanging in the rafters. Where? What
Which,
rafters?
again, just for new listeners, that's why it's D1 and Done podcast. That was the first Kentucky D1 and Done. Played my freshman year and left. Cal Party then came in and ruined the system by bringing these like freshman NBA players. Thank you. Stop. Seriously, stop. You guys are so sweet. So, yes.
The reason I want to bring up our teams real quick, because I was thinking about this earlier. Season 1 was amazing. Purdue made the national championship. Kentucky went, lost to Oakland round 1. If you guys don't remember.
Wait, Kentucky loses round 1 games? That's a thing?
And then season 2 is when we had producer Jake's Florida Gators win the national championship. So we've been on fire, boys. Season 3, I mean, we have to one-up it somehow. So
Well, the Final Four here in Indy, literally minutes away from where we live. So let's all meet. Let's all meet and have a good time in April.
By the way, we do have a studio downtown for Final Four weekend. It has been booked ahead of time, so we will have some fun guests that weekend as well, as hopefully we're rooting on all 3 teams.
look at producer Jake.
So-
He's a scheduler too.
Well, and so hosts, I do want to at some point get to this because I actually have a meeting tomorrow morning next to Lucas Oil Stadium.
Okay.
And so one of the things I want to do today is do our Final Four predictions, which Purdue won't
Right
be
now?
in. But no, at some point, we just way too early.
Oh,
Final
way too
Four.
early Final Four. Okay, sure.
Don't
yeah.
want to do it right now.
Okay.
I'm just saying on the show before.
So I would have no idea what to even say right
Good.
now.
Purdue?
Yeah, it's the season.
I mean, we
That's
would
why
all
I'm-
start with Purdue,
That's why
obviously.
we have to see a team tournament.
You know what
Mhm.
happens when Florida wins 1?
They
Oh, good.
they don't
They
win the
tend to
next
win
one.
the second.
He said the same thing about his football team. He said, when the basketball team wins the natty, the football team usually follows suit.
We're only
and-
0-1 in the conference.
Yeah,
DJ
spot the
DJ
line.
Lagway still around?
There's a walking boot somewhere for him, I'm sure.
Yeah.
He's wearing it.
Hey, they
Oh,
didn't
he's
play. They looked
on.
good against LSU. They were all right.
Other than his 5 picks. And that's our Florida football topic. So I want to hit on this. The other big news of the summer for college basketball and NCAA athletics as a whole, the house settlement came in this summer. So this is not my area of expertise. I don't know if you guys took any notes. So I read 3 different articles. Look at this. I got some notes here. Look at this. Homework.
Oh, we didn't
Homework.
get one of those, did we?
Nope. So
Okay, good.
No,
When
Nick.
when was the due date on this?
Nick's notes.
it was September 11th, 2025. So you're 3 weeks a little late on that.
Well,
sir.
I did forget. Sorry.
Make me never forget. Okay. So basically, what I did here, I took the 3 articles. This is all quick. I just want to hear your because I don't know if you guys know anything about this. I really didn't. So basically, I'm just going to read you what the general premise of the settlement is.
Did you chat GPT this?
I did not. I read 3 different articles, which
That wouldn't.
You read?
no, these
On it.
Gen Z kids, which my Gen Z, when's it cut off? I'm 1999. When's? Does anyone know?
I think you're Gen X. Or am I
I
Gen
think I'm Gen Z. Gen Alpha's the new one, right?
Dusty-
Robbie, you're a high
Dusty-
school,
Dusty and I are millennials. I know that.
Not millennials.
I'm a millennial.
and I think I'm Gen Z.
That sounds right.
Gen Z refers to a generation of people roughly born between 1997 and 2012, also known as Zoomers, or I generation, which is also like spelled the exact same way as like iPhone, lowercase I, capital G for
I
generation.
hate that. I would not
That's
like
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
How that's got to be shut down by Apple.
So my wife and I are different generations.
No, she's a millennial.
You
Hello,
said-
hello FBI. I'd like to report a crime.
She, me and Haley are both 96 for.
Oh, millennials.
millennials.
Okay, she's on the cutoff.
Thank goodness.
I'm a boomer, though. Let's just put it that way to make it funnier. But go ahead, Nick.
All right. So
Technologically,
this is the long story short. I got this direct from an article. Don't know which one it was, but shout out CBS Sports was one of the articles. Cool. This settlement will allow schools to start directly paying athletes for the first time ever next month. This was back in June, I should say. with an expected salary cap of roughly $20.5 million. That's USD. That's $20.5 million for all sports to be distributed however each school sees fit. Additionally, all future NIL deals between boosters, collectives, and athletes will be vetted by a new entity designed to ensure they're for valid business purposes and not merely the kind of recruiting incentives that have been flying around the country in recent years. So basically saying, hey, JT Toppin, here's $4 million, come play for my school. It will be incentivized. Some quick pros about it, direct athlete compensation, which exactly it sounds, expanded benefits, mental health resources, nutrition support, blah, blah, blah. Back pay and damages. This settlement includes $2.8 billion back payment for pool for former players between 2016 and 2014. So shout you kids between 16 and 14. New enforcement structure. The court will oversee settlements, not the NCAA. Preservation of NIL rules, so settlements will allow for certain NIL restrictions tied for genuine business purposes. So those are kind of quick pros of this. But finally, in my whole little rant, the problems. A lot of people are skeptical of this, most because they think this is kind of the first iteration. It'll continue to kind of, materialize and will make improvements going forward. So the first problem, which I think is directly with college basketball, is obviously not everyone has a football team. So that $20.5 million is, distributed to all sports.
Like for the Big East.
So schools like the Big East, the A10, should have advantage, which again, people like Gary Pierce is very skeptical about. Like, first of all, is Kentucky basketball going to let some VCU program push them around? No. I have to say, people think cheating might come back again for reasons like that.
Well, might come back?
Will come back. I'll try and be,
has been around. It's going nowhere.
I was going to say, the comeback implies that it once left.
Yes, it's not.
With NIL and stuff, it was kind of the Wild West, right? No one's really cheating. You're kind of just throwing money to the wind in a sense. So whether it's
a lot
cheating
of
gray area. Whereas now, because the whole idea of this, it eliminates cheating, rather now it's probably going to come back even more than it has been.
You're going to see way more operation in the gray area than ever before. That's ultimately what this means, because that $20.5 million, most schools that are devoted to football are going to put probably 85 to 90% of that towards football, and then about 8% to basketball, and then 2% to everything else. That's the way that I have been told. That's what most schools are going towards with that model, and then they're going to find other ways to subsidize and pay athletes in that gray area outside of the $20.5 million for the salary cap. So that's where it gets interesting.
So Robbie, we're going to run into is for listeners that don't know, or as a group we haven't talked about this, it's the whole Kawhi Leonard thing going on with the Clippers right now.
Yep, exact same thing.
Find sidebars to defeat the system and again, if you're worth that much, you deserve that money. Good for you. None of us are. That's amazing, but that's what's going to happen. Like you just said, it's going to go back to the handouts. I've said this before on this show, and I don't think anything's wrong with this. At Kentucky, I saw envelopes get handed over. I never got one. I got discount.
It was just one that said you were dismissed.
Yeah, correct. Even though I wasn't dismissed, I left the team. But I got discounts at stores that someone recognized me. But that stuff's going to start happening again. And it's almost like, okay, either make a free market system and just run with it like baseball does and give Juan Soto $62 million a year and just do it like that. But if you shut people down how much they can spend, then yes, illegally, like anything else in the world, it's going to legally happen. And that's what's going to make it tough.
And one thing that people should understand too, this isn't replacing what NIL currently is. This is an addition to it. Mm-hmm. So there's still going to be opportunities for you to go.
There's an NIL. So that's part of this thing too. There's an NIL Go clearinghouse. Yeah. So I'll just read this too.
Yeah. Continue.
Real quick. According to the settlement, a new thing called the NIL Go clearinghouse will be charged with the approval of future NIL deals to ensure they are in, quote, a reasonable range of compensation based on multiple factors, close quote, which someone made a good point at this. What does a reasonable range mean? So someone made this point. If Texas Tech softball, they incentivize softball more than other sports do, right? So they want to pay the star player $1 million. Is that considered reasonable? This is now limit certain players' ability to make money.
Well,
so
no, that's what I'm saying though. On top, so that's saying they want to pay her $1 million, but maybe there is only enough where they can pay her. We'll just make it 500,000. They can find ways similar to this Kawhi way, where now the local car dealership, the local, insert your business name. That those types of businesses now can lead up to that other 500K to compensate that player, but it has to be going through this approval process through the NCAA. That's what that clearinghouse also is referencing there. So that's where it is similar to the Kawhi deal. Hey, we can't pay you this much through this system, so you're going to find other ways to do it, but it has to be cleared through.
So, question for you then, I guess I don't know this. Is it per sport or is it per school?
It's per school.
it's $20.5 million.
Okay, so if it's so that's the problem though. Then
And by the way, that's
now
what
you're
they-
screwing the smaller sports.
By the way, they got the number because basically for some reason, the schools agreed it was 22% of the average money they make from college athletics. So if you're curious how they got that number,
I mean, it's no matter what, the small sports are always going to get screwed. That's never going to change.
I
People
know.
I know what you're saying. Like you think it's going to be equal across the board, and it's not. It's never going to be. Football's always going to be number one. Basketball's always going to be number two, and then everything else is going to fall underneath that. The way that I have been told from people at Purdue, it's 80 to 90% is going to go through football of that 20.5. 8 to 10% is basketball, and then everything else will be probably volleyball and maybe some other sports. So
and for listeners too who might get infuriated about that, it's also that's the reason, because you got to remember, football, no matter whether you're good or not, is your moneymaker for the vast majority of schools. So for people to be like, why would Purdue basketball not get more than Purdue football? Well, look at the roster size, look at the equipment needed, look across the board, and the fans that are able to attend events. That's where your money comes in, and that's why those percentages are broken down that way, just because it's the way to generate revenue for your university. But also one other key factor to all that too is that 20.5. So essentially how that works in layman's terms also as well is the NCAA cuts a check to, I'm the NCAA, I'm going to cut a check for 20.2 and hand it over to Kentucky Athletics. You are required under this deal to spend every dollar of it. But you do not have to. You get to choose how each of that dollar is spent.
do you know that you have to spend every 20.5?
That was
genuine question. I
am 98% confident on that.
Okay.
That is one of the conversations I had earlier this year. That was part of the deal as well.
okay.
Can I just say a fun wrinkle too? So Rob, you mentioned that Purdue said you heard 89% of football. So Matt Norlander said he's talking to certain college basketball coaches now, and how now they're rooting against like the football program because maybe it's 9% somewhere, but maybe there'll be 70% here. The football team keeps stinking, or because again, Kentucky is already been reported they're paying basketball way more than
Is it
the
like
other
11
school.
and 9?
That's the
Any
biggest.
other $500K for everything else?
Yeah, so I've heard conflicting reports. I think that's the highest one I saw. So I think that's the fun wrinkle now. You kind of have these, who's, I don't know, I was going to say swinging something. Who's going to get the most money from their university? I think is a very fun kind of wrinkle to this.
I mean, interesting, yeah.
And then the one other thing I want to just point out, this is just hysterical. So apparently we mentioned how the cheating, it sounds like it's going to get incentivized again. Apparently the Power 4 programs, there's a rumor that there's a, quote, document circling around that's intended to force schools to play by the rules or face serious consequences. And basically it goes on to say that if these schools do not sign, basically the document says if you cheat, you're in trouble, blah, blah, blah. And if you do not sign, you face expulsion from the conference, which is hysterical. Like, it's a Big Ten going to tell Ohio State to kick rocks and they don't sign anything. And if you're
just
like,
Rutgers.
just Rutgers, and if you're like, I don't know, Florida or whatever big program will say, if they don't sign it, why am I going to sign it? So this idea that they're going to have some document they all have to sign that they won't cheat is just so funny to me.
That's not going to happen. There's no chance that would ever happen. So that's a ridiculous rumor, but it's funny that someone floated that.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, never sign paperwork. That's if you learn that
life
from
advice.
podcast.
Life advice. Yeah.
Mhm.
Life advice. Be
Everything
careful what you
straight
sign.
cap. There you go. Great. Anything else on this boring settlement thing?
No, please move on.
Perfect. All right, we don't have to talk about it again. All right, I'll have a timer in front of me. But
Juan Soto makes
is
a
he-
lot of money. Last
For 50
time.
minutes.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, we kind of an open forum now, boys. Again, anyone's get off their chest? Robbie, remotely, anything you got to say?
Well, last year, around this time, I was just dragged for my love and affinity for Braden Smith. So I just would like to hear now, at the start of a new season with high expectations, what does Dusty think about Braden Smith going into his final
I'll
year?
be first to address this. Braden Smith, there's no chance you ever listen to this. If you do, I apologize. I shoved you in the gutter last year. And as
I
a
can't wait to clip this.
as a former point guard, because I don't ever play basketball anymore, he was so damn talented last year. I thought he'd fall on his face. I don't even mean that like in a deep way. Just I thought Zach Edey kind of accelerated him, because to have a great big man helps a ton.
Yeah.
Makes you look better, whatnot. Zach Edey kept Purdue in the games they lost in those games. The games they won, he accelerated. I mean, the one I always go back to is the Tennessee game. Or Houston. Wasn't he?
Oh, you talking about Braden Smith this past year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
They had
Houston game.
no business being involved in that Houston game.
No.
And they're like double teaming him and all this stuff, and he was amazing. So Braden Smith is my too early National Player of the Year.
Ooh, hot take.
He's going full circle.
Yes. Oh, I love Braden Smith.
He's just gonna.
You know what
I
you're doing
will-
right now? It's like when you cheat on your girlfriend, you're trying to make up for it now.
I
You're giving
am,
her
I am.
flowers. You're so
I
mean to
am.
Braden Smith
I
this
will-
year. Now
I live about 15 minutes from Westfield High School. I will literally go and just put flowers on the field when he takes Purdue to the national title, which isn't my prediction.
Field.
But yeah. But Braden Smith is a stud. And I am excited to watch Purdue this year.
As
Rob, we have to ask, to each their own, the tattoo that Braden Smith has on his shoulder. Do you have any thoughts, comments, concerns about it?
yeah, you said Purdue is going to make the Final Four this year. Yes, with Braden Smith. That's what you said.
Or, I didn't.
I said they won't make it.
Oh, you said they won't make it. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm basically steering clear from this tattoo. I think it looks stupid, but I
Wait,
do.
Yeah. Is it on his right arm?
It's his left arm, and that's why he wears it.
Okay.
You don't see it because he's got his
Okay.
t-shirt, the
Because remember,
sleeve, and then
Swaggy P said right arm's only for strictly for
yeah. Why
buckets.
don't you have
Strictly for
tattoos
buckets,
on your right arm? Strictly
Exactly,
for buckets.
Strictly for buckets.
Yeah.
There is a question I want to end with for all of us. There feels like there is a distinct divide between, tier one of college basketball, of national champion favorites, and everyone else. And that is Purdue, Houston, and Florida. I think those are, in my opinion, the three best teams going into this year. Does anyone else need to be in that tier one going into this year?
I think St. John's.
Okay. Why?
And I have two more to add that are on the cusp of that, banking on freshman play.
Mm-hmm.
And that'd be Kansas and Duke.
Duke, yeah.
I think
Duke.
you already mentioned St. John. I think I'm just gonna say Kentucky because why not? And I think Louisville, unfortunately, too, might have a conversation for this. But
Does BYU get into this with AJ Devanza?
No.
Who
No.
else did they get?
BY no.
Keba Keita, Richie Saunders
who
is still
came
there.
back for? Who came back for? Is that who I'm thinking of? Who came back for BYU? Did Richie
Saunders, yeah.
Saunders,
Mhm.
thank you.
stud. But dude, this is fun too because we'll get more into this. People don't remember Kansas was the preseason #1 the past 2 years, and we were talking about Kansas going to last year like they would probably be almost not the prove favorites, but most people's picked to win the national championship, and they lost to my boy John Vincent Calipari in the first round as a 7 seed. So I think that's what's about this new age of college basketball with all the changes. I think teams
You never
change.
know.
Well, I mean, was Florida ranked to start the year last year, Jake?
No. We may have been back in 20s. I mean, I put it this
Yeah.
way: I got Florida before the season started. I got Florida at 50-1 plus 5,000 to win the national championship.
The transfer portal is going to be fascinating because I think we do it every single year at the start of the year. We have, this guy is here. Like there are so many of those that are going to be coming into this year. Like like Donovan Dent, our guy from New Mexico, he's at UCLA. Boogie Flan now at Florida. Ian Jackson went from North Carolina to St. John's. Like there's some fun ones. Everyone thinks Yaxel Lindeborg, who was going to be a first-round pick, decided to go to college, is going to transform everything Michigan's doing. So there is some really interesting ones out there that we will get to. Maybe one of my favorite ones is the heel turn of Keyshawn Murphy going from Mississippi State to Auburn. Like that's the wild one. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, Chad Baker-Mazara is 26 years old, and he's still playing college basketball. He's at USC this year. Just be prepared. That is the oldest man still involved in college hoops. So we'll get to transfers at some point, but there's going to be a lot of names this year that you're like, wait, that guy's there? Welcome to college basketball.
And also, too, not to bring up bad memories for some of our listeners, like teams like IU and who else had a lot of transfers last year? Didn't IU, Kansas State, and Arkansas probably the best transfer portal classes last year going to last year, and it did not go great, I think it's fair to say. Shout Umar Ballo.
And speaking of them, fun for us, Joe Steele, listener of the show, IU Kentucky
Is back.
This year.
Excited for that.
Watching my game.
Excited for that. IU's
gonna-
we'll get to it.
attend?
IU's going to be solid this year. I think they're going to be a lot better than people think. Just
Love
throwing
the
that out there.
hire.
Yeah.
All right, before we go, I want to shout the Pacers and Fever, too. I know this is not
Great year for
this is
them.
2 fun years that, of course, both ended with injury and sadness, but shout to both. That Pacers run to
I'll say
lifetime.
any other last shout outs, and we'll get to our normal show. And I have a couple stories I can't wait to tell, but Jake, any shout outs you want to give?
Robbie, go ahead. I got to find this real quick.
I would like to shout out my wife, Kelly Price Donahoe, first of her name, Queen of the Donahos and Queen of the area. She has been an absolute champ in this 3rd trimester. She is probably the greatest woman on this earth. So she deserves a shout out.
Top 50. We can do those rankings. She's top 15.
She's at least in the top 1 for sure. But anyway,
Good.
yeah.
She got pumped by Robbie and going to pump one out soon. So
Okay, that's yeah, sure.
All right, so you did your shout to anyone?
yeah, I have a sad one. As you gave it kind of a sentimental one. Speaking of playing at Kentucky, AJ Stewart, one of my teammates there, his cousin is in on his deathbed right now. His name is Ari Stewart, also played college basketball. And just want to think of him. So if any of you that are prayers or thinking of people, he got shot 4 times over the weekend in a horrible situation. So that's all I'm going to say, wise, but just prayers that way. You just never know how they can help things out. And AJ, love you. And he does actually listen to the show. And Ari, who has the same birthday as Jake, is amazing. So let's just go with that. So
And I think on that note, I think we're glad to be back because, again, we know life is hard and things happen like that. We hope that, whether it's 2 hours a week, we can make you laugh or inform you and give you things to talk about and think about. And yeah, thank you all for listening so much. It's so great to be back. We're back, boys. Season 3, episode 1 in the books. I promise I'll watch the tape. I'll get better at hosting duties. 1 week at a time, keep swinging the axe, the tree will fall, get 1% better every day. That's all the things I got.
Yeah,
and next week, Final Four picks next week.
So we will all have Purdue in the Final Four next week. Great, good. Just making sure we're on the same page.
And one last thing, every week, every show up to the season, I'm going to have a team to keep on your radar, small college basketball teams. Now I'm going to start out with my favorite. I've been obsessed with this team all summer.
College of Charleston.
And it is a note, but that is a story
That's a
for
good one.
later on dates. Dusty and I got to go visit down there. But it's Sacramento State men's basketball team.
Oh, yes.
Head coach led by the one and only Mike Bibby. On their roster, ladies and gentlemen, they have USC transfer Braden Gardner, who you might remember, Mikey Williams, who has been someone that has been in and out of the basketball sphere for years now, in your names. Taj Glover came out of South Florida. Then, most importantly, Shakir O'Neal, son of Shaq.
Yep.
And finally, you guys remember Jeremiah Cherry from UNLV last year is also on that roster as well, filing it off with Prophet Johnson. Just an unreal media team when it comes to names in college basketball that I'm excited, and that is your first West Coast team to keep an eye out on.
I'm laughing. So I love I thought I gave that good closing statement, and Jake's like, wait a minute.
Wait a
Here
minute.
come the State Hornets.
The
baby."
Hornets, baby.
And is listed here as general manager of the basketball on the support staff, Dr. Shaquille O'Neal.
Also, that Jake could just be making these names up. And
But have you
Oh,
seen,
no,
have you seen
Aaron,
a
and
recent
make a joke.
picture? Have you seen a recent picture of Mike Bibby?
Oh, yeah.
Jacked.
He is massive. That dude has been on who between him and LaRon Landry, who's more steroided up? We don't know. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, if you were doing Mike Bibby photos.
That's a Stonehenge looking face.
Thank you all for listening. We're so glad to be back. We'll keep you posted on socials when we're back again.
And
Season 3.
And congrats to Robbie and Kelly.
Congrats, Robbie and Kelly. Go Reds!